If you want to make YouTube videos 10 times faster, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it using AI the right way. Because the truth is, most business owners are stuck spending a few days out of their week on one single video, researching topics, writing scripts, designing thumbnails, editing for hours. But AI can actually handle about 80% of that work better than you could doing it manually. And I'm not even talking about using ChatGPT to spit out soulless scripts or Sora to make those AI slop videos that no one wants to watch. I'm talking about 5 specific AI workflows that the biggest YouTubers are quietly using to finish high-quality business building videos in 2 or 3 hours instead of days. In this video, I'll show you these exact 5 AI workflows that take you from a blank screen to finished video in just a few hours that actually keeps people watching longer than if you'd done everything manually. And we're gonna go in the same order that you would go if you're planning and making a video. So some of the coolest workflows are gonna be a little more toward the end. And honestly, the last one is by far the most fun, and it's gonna put your videos way ahead of what your competition's doing. The biggest thing my students in my YouTube to Clients Academy program used to struggle with was coming up with the right topics and titles for their videos. They needed topics that aligned really closely with what they charge money for, but also had the right search terms that people were actively looking for with enough search volume to make it worth it. Plus, the titles needed to have that X factor that made people want to actually click through to watch. So I saw them all fumbling with this at first, and they were making videos that never really stood a chance at finding the right audience. So I tried coming up with prompt after prompt to help them nail all of it in one go, but it was so many factors to keep track of, nothing really did it until the day that ChatGPT released agent mode. The very first basic attempt I tried at that, it wasn't perfect, but it told me this was gonna be the magic bullet for balancing everything out. So my team and I worked on that prompt for literally 2 weeks straight, and we've done a lot of tweaking to it since actually. We finally got to the one that works perfectly every time. And that one's very long and complex, so today I'm just gonna share a simpler version of it. But if you did want the whole thing, it is included in my program. You can learn more about that in the link in the description. But the important thing is just to be super clear with ChatGPT about what you need it to balance out for you. So it needs to find the topics and titles that a new channel could talk about to build their authority in your overall niche using the right keyword phrases that people actually search for on YouTube, and to provide you with however many options you want. So you can even ask for your entire year's worth of topics that way. Tell it to go right to the source, YouTube itself, to see what people are typing into the search bar. And of course, you're gonna need to prime it by telling it as much about your business and your ideal clients as possible. It needs to know at a bare minimum, like what services you provide, the problems you solve, all that stuff. And here's the important part. You need to make sure that it's set on agent mode. Normal deep research will not be able to, open up YouTube and literally start typing things into the search bar to get the clues it needs. That's the secret sauce to this working at all. Then you want to ask for 2 columns, column A being the topic that's based on a real keyword phrase, and then column B being the finished title that uses that keyword phrase, plus, add some extra heat to it that makes it actually sound intriguing. And what it gives you back here should be miles ahead of what you may spend hours, strategizing manually, because it's actually based on research, not just on your best guesses of what people might be searching for. Okay, so that takes care of your content ideas and your titles, but every good YouTube expert agrees that next to the title, your thumbnail is the most important part of setting your video up to get lots of views. So important, in fact, that the thumbnail and the title should actually be figured out before you even start making the video. The idea being, if you can't figure out a good enough way to package the idea, you might as well just move on to the next one. The thing is, thumbnails are so tricky because they need some strategy, like how will I visually show this idea, and actual design skills using Photoshop or Canva. And most people aren't good designers. I mean, heck, most designers aren't good designers. So what are you supposed to do? Well, AI gives us some really easy ways to create winning thumbnail concepts and designs. So you may have heard of Google's new AI image generator they're calling Nano Banana, and it's pretty solid. You can give it a photo of yourself and tell it roughly what you want. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it looks just like you, sometimes it looks more like this. And it definitely still struggles with making the image the right thumbnail dimensions, so this actually is not the AI tool that I'm going to recommend the most here. Instead, check out this one called Pixels. Now, this does a much better job at nailing your likeness because it actually has you upload up to 20 photos of yourself. That's just way more data that lets it properly train itself on what your face looks like, so you can make your AI twin basically do anything you want in a thumbnail. Now, this works best if you give it a good variety of expressions and facial angles so that it really gets to know your face. Now, from there, you've got some choices. You can just do a simple text prompt telling it what you want to be in the thumbnail, and you can even include text in the thumbnail. It does really well with text. And unlike Nano Banana, all it does is thumbnails, so it knows what they're supposed to look like specifically. Maybe it'll nail it on the first try, but if not, you can at least call what it gives you a good first draft and ask for changes, or just start over if you want. It only takes it about, a minute to make each one of these. But probably the coolest option in Pixels is the recreate feature, where you find an existing thumbnail on YouTube, you paste in the link, and just tell it, I want this, but change that to make it fit the needs of your video and to differentiate it from the original. Like maybe you're a life coach and you want to make a video about the best meditation apps, and you want to take this thumbnail concept by Jeff Sue, but instead of showing the time and ChatGPT alert on the phone, you want it to look like a meditation app, and maybe you want to show your face looking calm. Just ask for those changes and boom. So the big ugly question is this stealing? Well, not as much as you might think. So YouTube experts like Patty Galloway fully endorse what they call ethically stealing, taking proven thumbnail concepts and making them your own. The logic is, thumbnails are marketing tools, not art pieces. So if a layout or expression or hook is already proven to get clicks, reusing that idea with your own face, branding, and text is simply applying data-backed design. It's not really plagiarism. Because the thing is, there's no copyright on a style or on a general concept, and reinventing the wheel just wastes extra time while also lowering your odds of it working. By just taking and lightly tweaking what already works, you can shortcut your way to more clicks while still creating original content. The way I and a lot of other YouTube experts see it, copying concepts isn't theft, it's just a smart growth strategy. Pretty much all the big players on YouTube are already doing it, myself included. I've definitely taken some proven concepts, and others have definitely taken from me. Just think of it as the circle of life, but for video marketing. And in the end, your thumbnail is probably gonna look really different from the original anyway, because it's you, your colors, possibly different objects, different text, everything. And it also just makes changes on its own anyway. All right, so you've got your title and thumbnail locked in. Now it's time for the script. But here's the thing. You probably already know about 70% of what you want to say. It's that other 30% that kills you, right? The stats that you can't quite remember, the example that would perfectly prove your point, the 3 extra tips that would make your video just super complete instead of just okay. So for this, let's go back to ChatGPT, but this time we're gonna turn on deep research mode. So you'll just tell it the title and a general description of the video itself, along with all the stuff that you want to talk about in the video. Just go ahead and brain dump it all out there. It doesn't have to be structured or organized in any special way. ChatGPT's superpower is taking chaos and organizing it for you. So just tell it you want it to do enough research to fill in the gaps, and then ask it for anything that you want specifically, whether it's a few more tips or to help you make an argument or state an opinion. I personally love asking it to help me out with finding real-world case studies or, stats that I can use to help me make my points. And I always have to tell it not to take irrelevant side quests or tangents, because if you don't say that, it does have a tendency to over-research and turn a tight focused topic into a crazy, unwieldy video that should really be more like 5 separate ones. Then it'll always ask you a few follow-ups just to get on the right track. But once it gets going, it's gonna take some time, maybe up to 15 minutes or so, getting it all researched for you. Then what you get back is a great basic structure for our next workflow. Scripting. It's probably no surprise that AI can handle this part of the process, but, and I have to stress this, most people do this completely wrong and end up with a really bad script because they didn't prime the system for a good one. So I've come up with a pretty cool AI process, and this particular workflow is designed to not just get a script written, but to create your reusable script writing agent that you can go back to every time to nail every single script you ever need. All that involves is creating your own custom GPT in ChatGPT or a project in Claude. The tool you use is up to you. I do think Claude is still a little bit better at writing like a human than ChatGPT is. But if you already pay for ChatGPT and you don't want to pay for another tool, it still does a great job. So I'm just going to show you the rough workflow in ChatGPT, but if you were to do it in Claude, it's pretty much the exact same process. All you need to get started here is a good scripting formula, and I do have a video all about the perfect YouTube script formula for client generation videos. You can click the link in the description for that. And you also need a good writing sample that you want the AI to, mimic when writing, so it sounds like you rather than its default tone, which is usually just a dead giveaway that it's AI, not you. Now you can make your scripting agent even better if you had more examples of things like, great opening hooks or a good solid document about you and your experiences, stories of you working with clients, stuff like that it can draw from. But for now, let's just do this with the bare minimum 2 documents. The first one laying out the perfect script formula and the other being your writing sample. That can either be something you've written yourself or better yet, a transcript from you just talking naturally, because scripting tends to work best if it's written like how you talk. But if you don't have one of those, or if you can find an existing YouTuber who speaks the way that you'd like to speak in your videos, go ahead and grab about 10 minutes worth of transcripts of them, just talking, and then put that in a document. Then when you've got all that together, go to ChatGPT and under GPTs, click Explore, then Create. Or if you're using Claude, click Projects, then New Project. Then you just need to name your agent and then give it its instructions. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, it's kind of long, but just know you can copy and paste it from the description below, and you should probably just kind of take a look at it to see what this is doing. Then just upload your training materials and that's it. Now, every time you need a script, you just open up your agent and kick off the process by pasting in all your research and your rough ideas. Then it's going to give you a solid 85% first draft. You just have to add the last 15%. Okay, now for the really fun workflow I promised you earlier. This one isn't just practical and time-saving. It's actually going to put your videos way ahead of what your competition's doing, making them more engaging and watchable. And that's important because the more people like and watch your videos, the more YouTube's going to show them to more people, so you can actually really work the algorithm in your favor here. And look, it's totally fine to go simple on your videos, especially when you're teaching something. But sometimes it helps to add some really simple visuals that keep people interested and help you tell your story better. And one of the best ways to do this is with B-roll video. That's just what we call videos like this, or this that play over you talking. It just helps you tell a story visually and lets you show something rather than just tell it. And sure, it's always been easy to just buy stock clips. They cost about $5. But they're not special. They look exactly like what they are. Generic stock footage everyone else is using for $5. But what if you could create something that looks and feels custom, starring you? Maybe you're working with a client, maybe you're speaking from a stage, maybe anything else you can imagine. With the new Sora 2, this kind of footage that features, a virtual you has never been easier to make or more convincing. And that just opens up the scope of your videos in ways that weren't possible before. And yeah, AI videos everywhere now. Your feed's probably full of those faceless channels just pumping out garbage, but that's not what we're doing here. We're going to be using it to enhance videos that are already good, not replace the human element. To get started, just open up the Sora app and you're going to use the Cameo feature to train the AI in your face by following some simple instructions. Once you've done that, you can ask it for pretty much anything, including actual spoken dialogue if you want. Now, I can't tell you how impressed I am by this. When I did it in the first couple days of its release, all it asked me to do was say 3 numbers and turn my head. And then the output was shockingly accurate. And I'm betting they'll add a way in time to have you talk longer to make it even more accurate. But even right now, the non-speaking B-roll that it's made of me is really good and 100% ready to use. And you can also use this for motion graphics. Just tell it the style you like or give it a reference image. and then tell it what you want to happen. So I just asked for a futuristic purple and black gradient background with 4 glowing futuristic icons, and it gave me this in just a few minutes. And this would have taken my editor a few hours to do. But getting people to watch your videos is one thing, getting them to pull out their credit card and hire you, that's completely different. So I want to invite you to my free masterclass where I'm going to show you my 5 secrets to building the client attraction YouTube channel that you know you need in 2026. This is the system that actually turns viewers into buyers on autopilot. You'll use these AI workflows to get everything done in just a few hours per week, but more importantly, you'll know exactly what to create that gets people to reach out ready to work with you. So click right here and sign up for free. I'm gonna send you the training right now. So click here and I'll see you right there.